Action.
Hey, thank you for tuning in to Rough House Radio, where Vibez our reality. And this is your host, Cheryl B. And we have a special celebrity guest today that's on the show. Would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Michael Wyche, owner, founder, and CEO of Michael Wyche Enterprises. I'm a former NFL player for the Green Bay Packers. I'm a best-selling author, going for two-time best-selling author. And yeah, that's me.
So tell the people, because it's still people that's not into football, sports, and all that. So just give us a little bit of background of where you came from to get to, when you first got into the industry of football.
I was born in South Norfolk. That's a section in Chesapeake, Virginia. Poverty, stricken, violence, gun violence, whole nine. I go in the projects in the ghetto, and it was hard making it out. But you definitely gotta have drive, focus, and commitment to get out of a hellhole like that, because you're basically living in a combat zone for real.
So have it ever been a situation, going back into when you was growing up, that you realized it had to be changed and you wanted to implement that change to the world?
Growing up, you around a lot of dope dealers, you around a lot of crackheads, you around a lot of prostitution. It's so much. So I knew at a young age, South Norfolk is not where I wanted to be. Mm-hmm. So I knew I wanted to do it differently, because I came up in a generational curse. My grandfather went to prison. My father is still currently in prison, and I'm a grown man. He went when I was 3 years old.
Okay.
And I almost went to prison, but under the mentorship and the teachings of my grandfather, we was able to make a turnaround. I'm not saying that I didn't go through anything. I'm not saying that we didn't go through turbulence trying to get me on the right track. Mm-hmm. But my grandfather was determined for me not to end up like him. My father also played a big role from the phone, because that's the only thing he could really do was voice his opinion, because he wasn't here with me.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. So, do you think that, because there's a lot of children, out here that don't have that support of a parent, some type of guardian that really care about them. So that's going to kind of tap into what you're doing right now in the community. So did that pretty much branch off into what you're doing now?
Yeah, I had a passion for it, giving back, reaching back to create other leaders like myself. Mm-hmm. So it became a passion of mine, because I believe, in the youth that's growing up right now, everybody that has grown up, when we grew up, mm-hmm. we were getting raised, but we weren't getting trained.
Most definitely.
A lot of people raise their kids, mm-hmm. which people don't realize that's the bare minimum. Mm-hmm. The bare minimum is raising a kid: food, housing, clothing. Mm-hmm. But where's the training? That's why when kids go out here and they get in certain situations, they don't fall back on the teachings and the training that has been taught, because they don't have any.
Most definitely.
So that's where my mentorship comes in at. We train kids. Mm-hmm. We train people. We train men to be men. We train young ladies to be, what we can give them, from our mentor ladies that's in our movement. Mm-hmm. We train everybody, so mm-hmm. That's the thing. Because like I said, we was missing that growing up. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that was the reason, because mama and daddy was working, or mama was working, mm-hmm. Daddy was on the road making more babies.
Most definitely.
So, that's where we come in.
Okay, now, I'm taking you back a little bit to something that you said. You said train. Now, in what way of training? Do you mean the mindset? Because I'm a firm believer, a change of a mindset equals change of a lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So when you say train, how do you train someone? Especially when they've been programmed or conditioned to be a certain way for a long period of time.
First of all, yes, you're right. You got to train the mind. You got to change the mindset because we are stuck. All of us that had come from the ghetto, from the hood, we stuck in a generational curse.
Most definitely.
We stuck in a generational curse, and it's so comfortable there that they don't want to get uncomfortable and do different things. So we start with the mind. Then we start with ambition, hustle. We teach our kids about financial literacy. You know, we also teach them about, you know, thriving in relationships. My grandparents been married 51 years.
Oh, wow.
And my grandfather taught me, one of his teachings that he taught me, you know, you don't go get a woman. You don't go find a wife unless you got the life starter kit. And the life starter kit is God first, a house, 2 cars, and cash flow.
Amen.
You shouldn't be going to get a woman until you have those certain things in your life, because that's what's going to make the life and the marriage flow easy.
Most definitely. Because a lot of marriages do separate from financial.
Yeah,
Yes, financial. So, you know, with all that being said, you know, you was blessed, you was one of the blessed to have some type of support in your life to help guide you and lead you and pave you on that right, you know, direction. But like I said before, there's plenty of those that don't have that. So if you could take yourself out, you know, of what you experienced and try to, you know, relate to someone like that, what type of advice would you give them? Because, I mean, it is programs out here, it is things for, but, you know, when you're not exposed to it, you don't know.
Right. Well, and where we're from, where most of us are from, verbal solutions don't work. As a great mentor, as a great leader, you have to have physical solutions. Verbal solutions don't work. This kid don't want to hear you have your I have a dream speech. And because while you having your I have a dream speech, his mama's still nodding off at the table off heroin. So he really don't care about what you talking about. So we got to have physical solutions to be able to touch these kids and be able to mentor these kids, and you will ultimately see a change.
Most definitely. So with that, going back to what you're pushing out for the community. Going back to the train, give me an example on how you would train the mindset.
Okay. First off, we sit down with them. We have a life group that we meet every Wednesday. And we try to figure out what you're going through, how you feeling, how you doing mentally. Tell us what you've been through, so because we got to figure out what the mentee or the trainee is going through.
Yeah.
And then from there we start building a amazing human being.
Yeah.
But you got to start with what he's been through, the trauma and everything like that. You know, one kid, he said, you know, gun violence was a big part of his life because he didn't hear I love you enough.
And that's true. That's deep too.
So, you know,
it branches off into so many things, because when you don't get that type of affection that you need, it messes with the mind.
Yeah.
It causes depression. It causes self-esteem. It causes you self-confidence issues. And it formulates you to who you are, because what you experience in your upbringing affects your adulthood.
It definitely affected mine, and I had to rehabilitate my mind. Like, one thing that affected me growing up, I used to have a lot of relationship issues. And the reason that I had a lot of relationship issues and I was easy for me to walk away from a relationship was because my mama abandoned me.
Yeah.
Due to being addicted to drugs. So it was easy for a woman to leave. If my mama left me, you can go bye.
Yeah.
You know, instead of trying to work it out and trying to figure out and try to come up with a solution, it was easy.
Okay. So, I mean, only if you're comfortable, would you like to tap into that?
Sure.
Okay, so you said that, you know, one of your parents abandoned you. how did that make you feel growing up? Because somebody out here might be feeling the same thing or have felt or going through. But how did it make you feel? So, related for feelings.
So, well, first of all, let's not get it twisted. Me and my mother had an amazing relationship.
Uh-huh.
She was one of the greatest people you will ever meet, give you the shirt off her back.
Yeah.
But when you addicted to that drug, that drug make you make decisions that you don't really want to make. That's not really them making it, it's the drug. So she had a lot of demons that she was fighting. She had a lot of demons that she was fighting. And I had to pretty much take a blow from that, So it was challenging, man, growing up. It was challenging, but thank God people in the neighborhood was able to give me advice, certain Jews and everything. And not only that, I had my grandfather to be able to hold on to as well.
That's beautiful. And I'm glad you cleared that up, because some people can take stuff and run with it. Oh, he had everybody's situation is different, and like, you know what I'm saying?
On a sober day, she was the greatest.
Yes. I mean, it all the way around, it just boils down to people fighting demons. Like you said, everybody's fighting something. I don't care who you are. Whether you fighting a gambling addiction, a drug addiction, sex addiction, it does not matter. Compulsive lying condition, a narc condition. Everybody's fighting something.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, I'm just letting you know, I'm glad you cleared it up, because some people, they take stuff and run with it.
They will run with it.
Yes, most definitely.
They'll be like, oh, his mama, he bashing his mama. No, I'm not bashing my mama. I love my mama to death. We had a great relationship, but the truth is the truth.
Yeah.
She became addicted to drugs, and she made certain decisions that, that kind of hindered us. That scarred me, and she was the first woman I ever loved, and she broke my heart.
So let me ask you this, because in life, see, I look at the whole and the big picture. I look at all in all, but it had to be a part of you that is very forgiving. Because from the vibes that I'm feeling in the energy, it seemed that you forgave her. It just, you just dealt with that emotional part. But, the reason why I'm bringing that part up is because there's some kids out here that can't look past that and not realize that we're all human, that we're dealing with things. A parent, grandparent, someone that you look up to, it doesn't matter. So, being a mature individual that you are, what made you look at it another way and say, I'm not going to hold this against her?
Like when I got older, when I was younger, I was mad with her.
Yeah.
I was hot with her for a long time because I didn't understand why she left me,
Yeah.
But as I got older and I started to really tap into the generational curse.
Yeah.
God knows what she's been through to start. What was the gateway to her using the drug?
Exactly.
So it started getting deep for me. I started thinking about, as I was trying to break the cycle, like, at the end of the day, our parents, and that goes back to when we was talking about training.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, yes, I said that about training, but at the end of the day as well, Mama and Daddy did the best they could. Yes. Because they taught us all that they knew.
Exactly.
So if your grandmama and granddaddy didn't know much, and then they teach you the bare minimum of what they learned, it's just keep going.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that it's okay, but they teaching you this for you to just survive barely.
Exactly.
So,
And I'm so glad that you looked at it like that, because there's a lot of kids out here that hold grudges, with their parents. Yeah. But that's not growth, and that's not understanding. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, pros and cons, good and bad. You can't be one-sided about things in life. Yep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just glad that you actually was open enough and had it within yourself to not degrade her or look at her in a bad, negative way?
Well, I had to do the same with my father.
Yeah.
My father's in prison. My father went to prison when I was 3 years old. And I struggled a lot because I didn't have... Now, my grandfather was there. My grandfather did an amazing job. And he had the time of his life trying to get me on the right path.
Yeah.
But ain't that young boy looking for daddy.
No, definitely.
And, you know, the decisions that my daddy made to get incarcerated, you know, at that time, you know, I didn't understand why I was an angry kid.
Yeah.
You know, I loved my daddy, but I was acting out in school. I was getting kicked out of school. I was always in alternative school. So my second grade teacher, she said I was gonna end up in prison.
Oh wow.
She said I was gonna end up in prison, and you know, that's from acting out in school because of not having my father.
Yeah.
So a father is very important, but I had to forgive my father because he was young when he made the mistakes.
Yeah.
He watched his daddy go to prison. His daddy went to prison for 25 years.
Again,
So
and
at the end of the day, most kids look at their daddy back then as hero. My daddy, my hero, I want to be just like my daddy. So if your daddy a dope dealer, man, I want to be a big dope dealer like my daddy.
Yeah.
You know? If your daddy a doctor, lawyer, NBA player, look at the generation. Look what's going on with Carmelo Anthony and his son right now. His son just went to Syracuse to play what? Basketball. He followed in his daddy's footsteps. So we love daddy.
Yeah.
Especially boys, we love daddy. So as men, we gotta set a positive statement and we gotta set positive examples for our young children to look up to. You know, but at the end of the day, I forgive my daddy because he grew up in prison, and the knowledge that he had, that I was able to hear from the phone. Did it take a while because I was on that wrong path at one point, but I hopped right back on the interstate, and here we go. You know, I finally got it together. You know, but the knowledge he gave me, did I disobey him sometimes, and I fell hard. Yeah. But that's what I'm thankful. You don't get this without him learning from his mistakes, and without my grandfather learning from his mistakes. You don't get this.
And see, that's what a lot of people don't do. It's two ways, well, it's plenty of ways to learn in life. You can learn from yourself, or you can learn from somebody else.
My grandfather teaches that. A genius learns from other people's mistakes. A jackass learns from his own mistakes.
Yeah, that is so true. That is so true right there. But wow, that's just amazing in the background. So, have you ever viewed it like this? Everything you went through in life was for a reason because they made you to be the person you are today?
I couldn't control what I was born into. I was born into poverty. I was born into dope dealing. I was born into gun violence. But I controlled everywhere I was going. I can control my destination. So you have to make up a decision in your life that you want to be successful. You don't want to be like this. You don't want to keep carrying on this negative legacy. Yeah. You know, and you got to be mentally stronger than everybody else, because breaking the generational curse ain't for the weak and uncommitted. No, it take discipline, it take commitment, it take consistency.
And patience. And patience. And patience. And you have to be open-minded. Yeah. You have to be in tune, first and foremost. Yeah. You know, open in mind. But we definitely going to get into that, you know, because this will be broken down in two parts, you know. Yeah. But, you know, is there anything that you would like to ask Cheryl B?
What was a generational curse moment you've experienced in your life, and how did you overcome that? You know, who or what gave you hope to overcome that? Or how did you overcome that?
Well, in my family, there's a lot of people that don't have genuine love for you. I don't know why certain individuals like that, but I think it's a sign of being anointed and blessed with a gift. And, you know, living that life, going through a whole lot of ups and downs with my family, trying to have that. I wanted love from them. I wanted to be accepted, but for some reason I was just an outcast. So, you know, growing up from that, it came to a point when I lost my mom at 19. She passed away, rest in paradise. And at that point, it gave me like an eye opener on how to accept people for who they are and what they are. So that was a struggle itself. And then, like I said, things are deep. It breaks down to other things. And it affects you on a mental state. It causes you to have like trust issues and, like self-esteem issues. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, going through all of that growing up, and then when my father passed away, it was like the light. So my mother was there for me. She understood me. She gave me that affection that I needed. You know, my father, he was, you know, strict, stern, and look, you're going to understand business. You're going to understand how to pay bills. You're going to understand how to, you know that credit is very important. It's more important than just having money. So I would say when I lost both of them, it helped me overcome and change the mindset of I don't want to be around that negativity anymore. I want to be around positive. You know, it took me to just accept for what people are and who they are. Because one thing for certain, when somebody show you who they are, believe them. You know what I'm saying? So I would say that's like the process that I very, very brief, because I got stories for days, but that's like a brief summary of the process that I went through mentally growing up, which got me to the point that I am now. And I had to overcome all of that. So it was a journey. Like, I'm working on a book myself, you know, hopefully to come out summer of next year, 2025. Yes.
So my next question, why do you think it's so hard for people, especially in our community, to come out and talk about some of the generational curses going on in their family? And one of them is they're embarrassed because their family is embarrassed for them to speak out about it. Why is it so tough? That's one of the reasons I believe. Mm-hmm. But why is it so tough? What are your thoughts on that? Why is it so tough for people to come out and speak out about it?
You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay, we got to get real up in here. Okay, number one, people are in denial. They are delusional. They think that stuff is, not happening, but it's happening, and they try to cover and put wool over it, masks and all that stuff. So, that's one of the biggest, curses that have to be broken, and that's being in denial, being delusional, and being conditioned. Mm-hmm. They condition off of music. Yeah. They condition off of TV. Yeah. They condition off of hearsay. They just condition off of what they used to be around, and that's pretty much, they known or prone to. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Like, for instance, low income based housing. Right. Me personally, I started it. That was one of my first apartments. I think that was all our first apartments. For real. But my whole point is you use that as a stepping stone. Right. And you learn how to maintain your bills. Mm-hmm. It's just an experience. How to keep things going and flow on your own, whether you're a single parent or not. And it's just pretty much, a stepping stone to experiencing and educating yourself. Mm-hmm. Now, during that time frame, you're supposed to gain that knowledge and the experience. And you are supposed to save. I don't care if it's $5. Come on now, majority of y'all ain't paying no rent. Let's get into financial literacy. Y'all getting SNAP. Y'all ain't paying no rent. If you are, it go based on your income. You ride around here in Mercedes Benzes and stuff, and it just don't add up. It just don't make no sense.
You can't even keep up with the maintenance.
Exactly. So, I mean, the government give those programs, depending on the mindset. Now, you got percentages out here. You got to look at the percentage that, okay, they get stuck and comfortable.
Right.
Depending on the government. And that's what they want you to do, is to depend on them. Like, for instance, a sugar daddy, right? Yeah, we're going to take it there. A sugar daddy. He would give you just what you need to get back. You want to know why? Because he wants you to keep coming back. You know what I'm saying? Just say your rent or your mortgage is $800. You got other bills too, but he ain't going to give you $1,000. He going to give you $800. Just enough for you to get back. So you can keep coming back. And it ain't that, in other words, the government doing and all this. Pimping. Straight up pimping. Your thoughts?
So yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I think oftentimes we are keep it rolling. I messed up.
Yeah, you good.
All right. I agree with what you're saying. We have to do better as a community of learning how to use money as a tool. Most people in our community, we spend money that we don't have to impress people that don't even like us. And that causes us to get in a hole financially, and we don't have nothing to leave to our children.
Most definitely.
We don't have no inheritance to leave to our children. Other races have inheritance to leave to our children. The black people, we don't have nothing. We don't come together to try to build anything, because co-creation is really, really powerful if you're with the right people, with the right partners. But we too busy trying to bring each other down. We too busy not trying. We don't want to see the next person win. You know what I'm saying?
Woo!
So we're gonna stay in this rat race until we decide to come together and not come together for a motive and use somebody. Because I see that in business relationships as well.
Yeah.
A person just get in with a motive just to screw you over. That happens in relationships too. So we have to learn the value of a dollar, and we struggle with that. In our community, we blame white people for 95% of our problems, but yet we spend 95% of our money with them.
Yes.
That's a problem. You can't keep blaming the white man for what you ain't had and this and that. You have to become disciplined with money.
Yes.
You stop buying all the new sneakers and all of that if you ain't got nothing. I was taught you're only supposed to spend 30% of what you make, and you're supposed to save 70% so you can have something, and you repeat, and then you invest. We not doing that. We're not doing that with our money. We are taking our money and going back on Fridays. We're going out to the nightclub, spending all this money, and then we go back to work the next week and blame the boss and cuss the boss out and tell him you need a raise.
Yes.
No.
I totally agree with all of that, most definitely. Where it boils down to, people need to start accept their accountability for their own actions. It starts right here in the mind. When they say a mind is a terrible thing to waste, they just ain't talking about just going to school. They talking about a whole lot. There's levels to all of it. And we definitely going to be tapping into that. But make sure you tune in for part 2 of the repeat, breaking these generational curses. And thank you for tuning in to Rough House Radio with Vibez Our Reality. And Mr. Michael, tell the people if they want to get in contact with you on your journey or what you're doing for the community, how do they do so?
Follow me on all social media platforms at CEO Michael Wyche. That's CEO Michael Wyche. And I post quotes up there. You're also going to see me training different types of athletes as well, professional college, high school, middle school, giving back to the game in that way because I owe the game everything. This game, without this game of football, I wouldn't become a best-selling author because I wouldn't really have a story to tell. So I give back to the game, and yeah.
Yeah, so most definitely we out here, we gonna be doing it up. But tune in next time, every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, baby. And you know my motto. Keep pushing and keep faith alive. Rough House Radio, Cheryl B.
Yes, Lord.